Welcome to another Walter Football video. I'm Charlie Campbell, Senior Draft Analyst, the most accurate mock drafter in the world. All right, so last week I did my season predictions video. You can check that out if you're still wanting to get your dose of preseason prognostication. Just right after finishing it, the Micah Parsons trade happened, but it really didn't impact me at all. That's why I put in the comments there below that video that I see the Packers as a wild card team getting into the postseason but not going to the Super Bowl, and the Parsons trade doesn't change that for me. So definitely I think this obviously makes Green Bay better in terms of the pass rush, in terms of getting off the field on third down, closing out wins in the fourth quarter, protecting leads. He's a great pass rusher. I think that's a huge addition for them. They needed a guy badly across from Rashawn Gary. Lucas Van Ness has been a big disappointment thus far, so they really needed that juice off the edge, and obviously Parsons will bring that to them. Now, I will say that as I've kind of digested the trade, the more days have gone by, I like it more and more for the Cowboys. I don't think either team got ripped off or destroyed. I talked with people around the league, and it was about 50-50. Some felt that Green Bay got the better of it, and others felt the Cowboys got the better of it. So definitely was not like the media kind of polarization where it seemed like everyone was coming down on the Cowboys and saying they got ripped off and the Packers destroyed them in the trade. League people didn't have that feedback to me. And the more I look at it and think about it, the more I understand it and like it from Dallas's perspective. I definitely think when you can turn one, excellent player into potentially 5 good starters, that's a good move for team and team building. So with the contract the Cowboys were going to have to pay Parsons, the market value deal to get him re-signed long term, they're able to re-sign 2 other valuable, important starters in Deron Bland and Tyler Smith. So that's 2 guys who would have been gone off the team if you had kept Parsons. Then you add Kenny Clark, a run-stuffing nose tackle who's really effective on the middle of the defensive line. The run defense has been an issue at Dallas for the last few years. So definitely I think that the Cowboys had a nice little haul there in terms of the veteran kind of additions to the roster and veteran, extensions and maintenance that they're able to continue to do with unloading that contract. But then also you get 2 first-round picks. If they draft well, those first-round picks should be starters and cheap starters for another 5 years, which is gold in the NFL. First and second round picks are just gold in the NFL because you're getting excellent talent, cheap starters for a number of years, and that can really help a team in terms of a rebuild and really makes gives you some real solutions to problems when you have issues with the cap and you can't sign expensive veterans at a certain position, but you can get a good draft pick at that spot and brings a value to the roster. So I definitely think those picks could prove to be huge for Dallas. Now, earlier in the summer, I did a draft theory video on reviewing kind of when NFL teams trade multiple first-round picks for a veteran player, and is it a good idea to do that? And generally, from that video, we came out with the clear answer is no. So recent history suggests the Cowboys are going to win this trade. That's what recent history for the NFL would definitely predict. So I won't redo the whole video, but I'll kind of hit on these trades to kind of give you just a general idea here as to why I'm saying that. So the only team that you can, and first of all, this is first round picks for a veteran player, so not considering like the RG3 trade necessarily, because that was for a rookie quarterback. So I'm talking about multiple first-round picks for a veteran player. So the only team that really did well in those deals was the Rams, where they came away with Matthew Stafford and Jalen Ramsey gave up 2 first-round picks and Jared Goff to the Lions. They gave up 2 first-round picks to the Jaguars for Ramsey, and they were able to win a Super Bowl with those 2 veterans on the roster. They're the only team that won big after making one of these trades. So they're the anomaly. Let's look at some of the other ones who did this and, kind of see how it played out. Texans gave up multiple first-rounders for Laramie Tunsil. They get in the playoffs some with him and him protecting C.J. Stroud the past few seasons, but they never won big with him, and then they ship him out for day 2 picks to Washington. The Bears, Khalil Mack, they get into the playoffs one year with Mack. Otherwise, it was not really, you can't say that trade was a win for the Bears. They end up trading Mack years later to the Chargers for a second-round pick. So the Bears trade, that one didn't pan out. And then others are even worse. Obviously, the Broncos trade for Russell Wilson is among the worst in NFL history. Just complete disaster for Denver, as Wilson was a declining player and never played up to what Denver thought he was going to be. Just a bust of a trade for the Broncos. Even worse than that is Deshaun Watson and the Browns giving up 3 first-round picks for him, and the suspension and the controversy, and then the way he's played and the year off from football is always a big red flag. Just so many guys have not been the same when that kind of thing happens in their career, and they took the chance anyway. So that Browns, Broncos, Bears, Texans, all bad. Then also the Seahawks and Jamal Adams. I mean, they give up 2 first-round picks for him, Bradley McDougall, a safety who got cut, and then the Jets turned those picks and a 3rd-round pick. And the Jets used that 3rd and moved up to take Elijah Vera Tucker, who's one of the best guards in the NFL. And then they also got Garrett Wilson, a really good young wide receiver, with the other first-round pick in that trade. So that was a great trade for the Jets, terrible trade for the Seahawks. And then the Seahawks make up for it in the Russell Wilson trade, where they end up getting, Charles Cross and Devon Witherspoon and Boye Mafe. I mean, they really did a great job of drafting there with those picks. So that's the caveat. You have to be good at drafting. The Lions obviously went from one of the worst teams in the NFL to minutes away, almost getting to the Super Bowl 3 years later from that Matthew Stafford trade. They used that trade to rebuild their offense. You get a starting quarterback in Goff. They use those picks. They get Jamison Williams, an elite wide receiver, elite speed receiver from one of those picks. They got Jahmyr Gibbs with the next first-round pick. They moved around with those picks, so they also, with having that ability to trade down like they did at 6 to move down and take Gibbs, then they got a 2nd-rounder that they used on Sam Laporta. So they totally revamped that roster with a great trade there for Matthew. Matthew Stafford wanted to move on. They move on. They built up their offense. And Josh Paschal, a serviceable defensive lineman, was from that trade as well with a draft pick. So overall, those trades, I think, can be great trades for the team giving up the veteran player. You can really use these extra picks to revitalize and rebuild a roster, but you have to draft well. So history suggests that the Cowboys are going to come out winners in this trade. So we'll see, though. Maybe the Packers are another anomaly like the Rams and are able to win big because they have Parsons there to help put them over the top. History says the Cowboys probably ended up winning this trade based on, recent year history. I didn't go way back into the 90s and 80s and all that beyond the NFL. Changes era to era, the kind of style of play. They change the rules. All these things impact football when you change the rules on how you can hit a quarterback and a wide receiver and the holding and all the rest. It completely changes the sport. So I don't think it's very don't think it makes a lot of sense to compare those kind of eras to recent eras. So I just went, really over the last decade and whatnot. So hope you guys enjoyed it. I think overall, the Cowboys and the Packers both did fine in this deal. I don't think the Cowboys deserve as much criticism and hate as they've gotten. I think it could end up being a really good deal for them, but they got to hit on these draft picks, and then I think they'll look back and it'll be okay. But we'll see how they do with that. That's always a crapshoot with Dallas, because with Jerry Jones, you never know. You could end up taking a Taco Charlton late in the first round, and then that pick you got from Green Bay ends up being wasted. And or maybe they end up with getting a really good player like a CeeDee Lamb or someone like that, that comes in and turns into a really good pro. So it just, time will tell. So we don't have the answers now, but I don't hate the deal for the Cowboys. I don't hate it for the Packers. I think it makes sense when you break it down that way. And I think it makes sense for the Cowboys if they're looking at recent league precedent to say, this trade is probably going to work out pretty well for us in the long run. So hope you guys enjoyed the video. So excited to have football back. Definitely check out all our content. I got tons of draft stuff going up all week. College game recaps just focused on how the prospects played in those games, position rankings getting updated every week, big board, mock draft, of course, hot press blogs, stock report, all that stuff going up all the time throughout football season. So keep checking back there on walterfootball.com, and I'll be back with you guys soon. You guys take care. Peace. Love all of you.